You're right, that works better. Gets a little money to hold. You're cool.
No, this is perfect.
This is cardboard. There he is. Going up on the stage line.
You can set it down there. If I need it, I'll use it.
There you
Alright, it may, after listening to that song, it sounds like worshiping Satan is fun. But you gotta realize that Satan is the reason why the weather's been too fucking hot this summer. But at least it got cooler, and Satan loves it when the weather's too fucking hot, and Satan loves Florida, because it's always too fucking hot. But the most important thing you gotta realize is Satan causes your fruit to sink. So, I'm going to do something I did in the my 2013 Fringe show called I Have Asperger, What's Your Excuse? And after that, I'm going to move on to all new material. So, I'm going to start talking about my previous
Shut that
lifetime.
phone off.
And I'm always interested in the purpose of my life and the purpose of my soul and who I may have been in my previous lifetime. And I have discovered after doing a lot of thinking that in my previous lifetime, I was Laura Ingalls. In April 1994, I came to Minneapolis because I needed to find some place to live. And I'm glad I didn't come here with anyone because most people would have gotten pissed off at me and told me my priorities were mixed up. Because instead of spending the time looking for a place to live, I decided to go to Walnut Grove. And the compulsion to go to Walnut Grove was so strong, it had to be for one reason. It was because I was Laura Ingalls in my previous lifetime. And I do have to say that I made it back to the Twin Cities with barely enough time to find a place to live, which, you know, why it always does go, I guess it does pay to go with your gut feeling, and usually no harm comes from it. I made sure that I took tapes with me to Walnut Grove, and I played music with explicit lyrics. I decided to listen to a song from G.G. Allen called Ass Lickin', Cunt Lickin' Masturbation while I was driving by Laura Ingalls' schoolhouse. And if you've never heard of G.G. Allen, he was not only the greatest rock and roll star of all time, but he was the most vulgar rock and roll star of all time. G.G. Allen would take off all his clothes, but if that's not all, he urinated. He would beat off on stage, and if that's not all, he urinated on stage, and if that's not all, he even took a shit on stage, and he threw it at people in the audience. And when I told my brother about that, he told me that is one show that he would not want to have front row seats for. Now, I'm willing to bet $1 million that I'm the only person in the whole world who's ever listened to a song like that at Walnut Grove. Now, some people told me that Laura Ingalls is turning in her grave because I listened to that song. No, she is not. I was Laura Ingalls. And the reason why I played such a vulgar song like that while driving by Laura Ingalls' schoolhouse is to prove that I've changed a bit since I was Laura Ingalls. If that's not enough, I decided to listen to my Beavis and Butthead. yeah. I was at the farm that Laura Ingalls grew up at. And there's many reasons to believe that I was Laura Ingalls in my previous lifetime. One, I used to enjoy watching Little House on the Prairie. Now, Little House on the Prairie is a family-oriented TV show, and I think that most family-oriented TV shows suck. But I enjoyed Little House on the Prairie, and it had to be because I was Laura Ingalls, which is why I didn't watch The Wall, which proves I wasn't John Boy. Not only that, The Wall sucked. Two, Laura Ingalls lived in Florida for a while. Laura Ingalls thought that Florida sucked, and so did I because I lived there, and thought that it sucked, and Laura Ingalls hated high humidity just like I do. Three, I was interested in coming to Minnesota because I was here when I was Laura Ingalls. Four, in a lot of ways I'm sensitive yet feisty, and even Laura Ingalls was feisty at times, and even pulled a prank that I really enjoyed. I remember the episode of Little House on the Prairie when Laura worked for the newspaper that Mrs. Olson owned, and Laura put an ad in the paper for both Olson's Mercantile, claiming that they were having a 100% off sale on the merchandise. And I really like that one because I enjoy watching people walk off with the merchandise for free. Five, last but certainly not least, I was Laura Ingalls because we are both writers. Now, people tell me that I write about abortion, diarrhea, necrophilia, and cannibalism, which means that my writing style is a bit different from Laura Ingalls, and there's no way that I could have been Laura Ingalls. Yes, I was. Laura Ingalls was a sick fuck. Laura Ingalls hated Nellie Olson with a passion. In her original novels, Laura Ingalls wrote about how she wanted to bring Pa's gun to school and shoot Nellie Olson and have sex with her dead body. Laura Ingalls was way ahead of her time. Laura Ingalls also talked about how she constantly got yeast infections and the very embarrassing experience she had while having sex with her husband while she had diarrhea when I was Laura Ingalls. Laura Ingalls felt deep down in her soul that it was important to share her experiences despite how embarrassing they were with the world, because people need to learn the truth from her experience. Laura Ingalls' publishing company, however, did not like her writing style and told her that writing about yeast infections, diarrhea, wanting to kill someone, and using profanity was not politically correct. Laura Ingalls felt deep down in her soul that she should have told that publishing company to fuck themselves and she would write it whatever she damn well pleases, but she allowed herself to be duped by those assholes, so she altered her writing style. Instead of telling it like it is, Laura was duped into telling it like it ain't. When Laura Ingalls croaked in 1957, she had to have a meeting with the gods to decide if she would be able to move on to a better world than this one. And the gods said, "Mrs. Laura Ingalls Wilder, we see that you wrote novels and told it like it ain't, and I'm afraid that you will have to be reincarnated to live back on Earth where people are fucking assholes, and you will face lots of suffering." And Laura's response was, "God damn it, I was duped into writing stuff that told it like it ain't." The god said, "Sorry, Mrs. Laura Ingalls Wilder. Being duped by a society run by a bunch of fucking assholes is no excuse. You were supposed to create controversy and rock the boat in your life, and you failed to do so. Now, we sentenced to let your souls float freely through the universe until December 1962 to give you a chance to do some soul searching over the mistakes you made. After that, your soul will be sent into the sperm of some guy fucking his wife, and you will get reincarnated as a person with a penis instead of a vulva, so make life more difficult for you. You will live in a very repressive society where people will treat you like shit for being different, and you will be tormented and made fun of while you are going to school. And people on planet Earth have a very low consciousness, which you fail to do anything about, I might add, when it comes to subjects such as bowel movement, sexuality, and yeast infections. In fact, most people on planet Earth have their consciousness up their ass. You had a chance to do something about that, Mrs. Laura Ingalls Wilder, and you fucked that up. Mrs. Laura Ingalls Wilder, you have a chance to redeem yourself in your next life. With the enormous amount of suffering and repulsive bullshit you will be facing, you will learn that it is essential for you to write extremely vulgar and nasty stories, and you must expose your writing styles to the world. By the end of the century, there will be a network of computers, which will be known as the WWW, which will stand for the World Wide Web, and the good news is there's going to be a bunch of smut on it. Now get it right and tell it like it is in your next life, then you will be able to move on to a better world after you croak. And if the consciousness of this earth is not raised up with your writing style, we will have space aliens invade Earth and blow it up. In September 1963, Laura Ingalls was reincarnated as me. While I was growing up, I felt that I didn't fit in with most aspects of society because it really sucks and blows. I got picked on and treated like shit for being different while going to school, but I'm afraid that was my punishment for failing to write about the truth while I was Laura Ingalls.